Hello, everyone, and welcome in. My name is Alexis Miller, and I am one of the yoga instructors here for Yoga for Caregivers. So, this is our weekly stretch session where we focus on getting into our body, stretching ourselves out, getting us ready for the rest of the day and the rest of our week. So, as we move through practice today, keep in mind your boundaries. Notice where are you ready to extend into postures? Where do you need to modify and come down to the mat? Or perhaps find your center posture. Also, keep in mind, I do not often cue water. So, if and when you feel thirsty, please feel free to step off your mat, grab that drink, and then join us whenever you feel ready. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and come into a comfortable seat. Legs can be crossed or straight out in front of you. You can be up on a prop like a block. That's what I'm sitting on, or you can just be down on the mat. We're going to wiggle back and forth, rooting into the sits bones, and then we'll sit up nice and tall here. We're going to inhale as we draw our shoulders forward and up, and then exhale as we drop them back and down. Inhale as the shoulders come forward and up, and then exhale as they come back and down. Nice work. Bring your hands into a comfortable position, whether on your knees, palms up or down, or in your lap. You're welcome to close the eyes if you'd like, or you can just find an unmoving point and soften the gaze here. This year, inspiration for our classes is drawn from the Native American medicine wheel based on Sun Bear's vision. The medicine wheel teaches us about movement and change and offers us insight that will help us learn and grow. The sturgeon phase of the year happens under the ripe berries moon. In the midst of summer, nature starts to provide some of its gifts. And in the midst of our own work, it becomes time to share our gifts. This makes sense, as keeping to ourselves what has aided and helped us change for better is no way to lead and be in community with others. As you move through practice, I invite you to bring to mind all of the gifts you have to share with others. In what way can you mindfully share them with other people in your life? So, centering in, taking a deep inhale through the nose, filling the belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhaling that breath back out. Take a deep inhale, fill your belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhale that breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you feel the belly expand outward, kind of turning into that big Buddha belly here. And then exhale as you squeeze the belly button in toward the spine, releasing that air from the body. Inhale as you feel your torso expand and your collarbones gently lift. And then exhale as you feel your shoulders release down and away from your ears. Inhale, really notice the feeling of the air entering the nose, moving down the throat. And then exhale as you feel that air move up the throat and out the nose. Breathing deeply, inhaling and exhaling with intention. Really noticing the movements of your breath here. Now, if you find that the mind starts to wander off, it gets caught up by thoughts, noises, or physical sensations, that is okay. It happens. Notice the moment you've gone away and then see if you can come back to the breath, back to focusing on the sensations of the inhales and exhales. If it's helpful for you for your mind to stay grounded and rooted, you can use a mantra here. Inhale, I share. Exhale, my gifts. Inhale, I share. Exhale, my gifts. Remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for just a few more moments here today. Take another deep inhale here, setting an intention or a purpose for your practice today, which really can be anything at all, but it often answers the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a nice deep inhale here. And then exhale that breath out. Set the intention off to the side, knowing we'll return to it toward the end of our practice. Nice work. We're going to remain in our seated position here. Inhale, sweeping your arms out to the side. Exhale, bending or sweeping that right arm up and then bending the elbow, bringing that hand to the small of the upper back. Now, this left hand can either come to rest down on the knee or sweep it around behind you and then try to bring those fingers to touch. Maybe you just reach, maybe the fingers do touch, or maybe you come into the bind where those fingertips reach together and you kind of clutch them together. I call this the Von Trapp family hold here. So notice wherever you are coming into this little bind or not. This is a nice little shoulder stretch here. It's stretching our shoulders in this dynamic tension, different movements at once here. We're not arching out the back, but instead staying nice and lifted through the spine here. Good. Let's take a nice deep inhale here. Nice deep exhale. Nice deep inhale. Nice deep exhale. One more inhale. Last exhale. Nice work. Releasing those arms, bring them out to a T. And then this time coming onto that opposite side. Left arm sweeps up, bend at the elbow, hand comes to the small of the back. We either bring the right hand to the knee or sweep that hand around and behind us. Again, maybe fingers are just reaching, maybe they touch, or maybe we find that bind here. Notice the tendency of the back to arch out and instead engage the core long through the spine. Really press your sits bones down into the mat. I find this helps a lot with keeping that spine from bowing out here. And then let's take a couple deep breaths here together. Inhale, exhale, release. Go ahead and bring those arms back into neutral. Inhale, sweep the arms tall, look up toward the sky. And then exhale, bring them back down. Just a little release here. Nice. All right, we're going to take our right hand, sweep it around behind us, and bring those fingers so they're sticking out into no man's land on the right side or on the left side here. And then take your left fingers and interlace them with the right. So it's like you're holding your own hands here. Hands in a kind of prayer position with the fingers crossed, okay? So they're just resting here, and that left arm sticks out like a chicken wing. Take your nose and turn it over to the left, and then drop that nose down toward the armpit here. We're feeling a nice deep stretch through that left side of the neck, or right side of the neck, sorry, into the shoulder, down into the bicep, arm, all of that region here. If you want less of a stretch, don't tip the nose down, just look off to the right or off to the left. Getting those mixed up today, sorry about that. And let's take a couple more deep breaths here together. All right, inhale, gently release, bring the head back to neutral. Sweep the hands over to the opposite side so they can stay right where they are, interlaced, but we just bring the back of that left palm to the outside of the right hip. Yeah, right elbow sticks out like a chicken wing. We exhale, turn our nose over to the right. And again, you can either stay lifted here or drop your nose down toward the armpit. So now we're feeling that stretch all along the left side, into the shoulder, down into the arm. Notice what position of the nose is right for you. And let's take a couple deep breaths here together. All right, inhale, we lift the head. Go ahead and turn that head back into neutral. Nice. Drop the hands behind you, but leave the fingers interlaced. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this posture a little bit better here. So fingers are still interlaced. We're sitting up nice and tall. Again, not bowing out the back, but instead, nice long spine, core is engaged. When you're ready, on the inhale, lift those arms up off the back as far as you're able. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze together, and then that opening through the heart center. Allow your torso to lift. So now a little bit of arching happens through the back here. And let's take a couple deep breaths together, turning that gaze upward toward that top corner of your space. Nice work. Inhale, we release those arms down, unlock those fingers here, and then we're going to come onto our hands and knees. So moving your props so they're out of the way. Hands come beneath the shoulders here, knees beneath hips, tops of the feet are onto the floor right now. Okay, we're gonna drop into that left hand and then inhale, sweep tall with that right arm, tabletop twist. Notice if the hips are jutting off to the right, and if they are, bring them in line with your knees here. You want to keep that nice alignment, hips stacked on top of knees. Reaching up toward the sky, feel that opening through the spine as you twist, pull through the shoulder blades here. A nice deep inhale. And then exhale, thread the needle, lower that right shoulder to the floor, side of the head comes down to the mat. Nice. So now we're really feeling that stretch to the outside of the right leg or right arm, sorry. So you're welcome to stay here. You want your weight in your shoulder and in your knees, not in your head. Your head is just resting gently down onto the mat. Left hand can stay right where it is. You can also extend it to the top of the mat here, fingers or palm on the mat. You're also welcome to sweep it up around behind you, rest it along the low back, and take those fingers and tuck them to the inside of that right leg. It's going to deepen the twist through the spine, open up that top shoulder and the heart center further. Another option with that top hand down on the mat and extended, you can extend your left leg straight out behind you. It's an option, it's not a requirement. Notice what feels right for you, and let's take a couple more deep breaths together. Inhale, let's go ahead and drop that left hand, left knee back down to the mat. Press into that left hand as you inhale, sweep your arm up to the sky. And then doing a couple of arm swings here. So inhale, exhale, that arm comes toward the back of the mat and down. And then inhale, it comes forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, hand comes back down to the mat. Nice work here. I'm going to switch sides here. So remaining in that position, this time dropping into that right hand and then inhale, sweep tall with that left arm. So again, checking with the hips, make sure they're not jutting out to the left, but you're nice and squared. Hips are stacked on top of knees. We're rotating open the spine, feeling that nice twist through the spine, pull into the shoulder blades. Deep inhale here. And then exhale, we thread the needle, lower that left shoulder to the floor, side of the head comes down to the mat. Good. So once again, feeling the pull through the outside of the left arm now, you can stay here. This hand can come and extend above you onto the mat or sweep up around and behind you and tuck toward the inside of the left thigh. You can also extend that right foot straight out behind you, heel spiking away from the body, ball of the foot on the floor. Notice what's right for you wherever you are. Let's take a couple deep breaths here together. All right. Inhale, gently release. Go ahead and bring that hand and knee back down to the floor. Plant the right hand, pressing into it on the inhale and sweeping that left arm to the sky, and then taking a couple arm circles here. So exhale, sweep that arm back and down. Inhale, bring it forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Last one. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. And then exhale, come back into neutral. Nice work here. Okay, if you have blocks, we're going to go ahead and grab them. We're going to bring them onto the high side. And I'm going to turn at an angle so you can see this position a little bit better. So I'm bringing the blocks on the high side about shoulder width distance apart. If you don't have blocks, you're welcome to use a sturdy counter. You could use a sturdy coffee table. And I'm also going to tell you how to do it if you don't have any of those things. Okay. So starting with our blocks here, we're on our knees and then taking our triceps and popping our triceps down on top of these blocks here. My hands are kind of extended out in front of me. So notice now how my knees, my legs here are at an acute angle. So I'm going to step my knees back here slightly. So I've got more of that 90-degree angle here. Okay. And then exhale, I'm going to sink my chest down to the floor. Allow the forehead to drop to the mat here, coming into this nice shoulder stretch, nice heart opener. Now, my hands can be extended, yours as well. You can bring them into prayer position, kind of treating it like it's an elevator indicator here, moving those hands as far as you're able toward the back here. Fingers pointing toward glutes is going to be a pretty deep stretch. So if you're somewhere in between, that's totally fine. Now, if you do not have any of those props, instead you step your hands out long and just drop your chest down to the floor. Good. Chin or forehead can rest down here on the mat. What's important is in any of these positions, we're not sinking back onto the hips like a child's pose, but staying nice and firm in our knees and then allowing our back to arch. So we're really reaping the rewards of this shoulder stretch here. Wherever you are, let's take just a couple more deep breaths here together. And then inhale, press into those arms. Step one hand up and then the other if you're using blocks here. Set your props off to the side so they're out of your way. And then we're actually going to lower right down onto our bellies here. Bring those forearms down onto the mat. Elbows are beneath the shoulders. And then press into the mat as you lift your gaze and torso coming into Sphinx. So your shoulders are shrugged down. We're drawing the elbows into the spine. So in addition to opening our shoulders and our heart center, we're getting the top of our abs and into our abs here. And even if you're not feeling it really deeply, we're actually stretching all the way down to like the top of that pelvic area where the abs connect with the rest of the muscles down there. So even if the stretch is subtle, you might not be feeling it at all. Maybe lift through the torso here, lift the chin slightly, and then really lean into this stretch. We're also getting a really nice decompression through our low spine. This is excellent for people who sit a lot. This is a great, great posture to do. Kind of help open up your chest here and prevent that hunchback from happening. So let's take a couple deep breaths here together. Deep inhale. Nice work. Exhale, we come back down to the mat here. Go ahead, bring the hands beneath the shoulders, inhale onto the hands and knees, but then exhale, sink right back into your child's pose. Elongate the arms, forehead comes down to the floor. If your forehead does not naturally reach the floor, you can stack your forearms or your fists. You can also use props like a block or a pillow. All are available to you. And your arms can stay extended, or you can also sweep them around to your feet, allowing the shoulders to reach down toward the floor and scrunch up along the neck here, coming into embryo. Options. Taking a couple deep breaths here. All right. Inhale, hands come beneath the shoulders. Press yourself on up here. Now, we're actually going to come right back onto our bellies. So, making sure that your props are out of your way. And then coming onto your belly here, extend your legs out behind you. And then bring your arms to a T. Bring that left cheek down to the mat here. Good. Now, arms are at a T. So is my left arm here. And I'm going to bring that right hand beneath the shoulder. My elbows up in the air. I'm going to bend my right knee so the foot is up in the air. And then on the exhale, leaving the left leg and arm right where they are, roll onto your left side, and then drop your right foot down to the outside of that left leg. You notice that my head is lifted, so I'm going to rest that down so we're not straining the neck here. Welcome to 8-point shoulder stretch. We're really stretching out this left arm, which is sticking directly out from behind us right now. Now, notice your knee. Think of it as a hinge point here. If you want a deeper twist to the spine, the knee folds open behind you. And if you want less of a twist through the spine, the knee closes down to the mat. Now, this right hand can stay here for stability, or you can sweep it around behind you and rest it along the low back. It's going to further open that top shoulder and the heart center. Notice what feels right for you, and let's take a couple of deep breaths here together. Nice work. We inhale as we release that arm, bring that hand back down to the mat here. Go ahead and roll back onto your belly, flattening out, extending that right arm. Now, I'm going to stay here so you can see this from the back side, so you know what it looks like on both sides since I'm not with you. All right. So, switching our cheeks here, right cheek is to the floor, right arm is extended straight out to a T. Left hand comes beneath the shoulder, elbow sticks up in the air. Bend that left knee so the foot sticks up in the air. And then exhale, we roll onto our right side, bring that left foot to the outside of that left leg. So once again, notice that right arm has not moved. 8-point shoulder stretch here. We're feeling it. This right knee is like a hinge. You either open it up behind you further or you close it down toward the mat for less of a twist in the spine. Notice what's right for you. Left arm either rest down on the floor or sweep it along the low back here. That's going to open that top shoulder, further open the heart center here. Head is resting down on the mat here. And then let's take a couple deep breaths here together. All right. Inhale, we gently release that top hand back down to the mat. We're going to go ahead and roll back onto our bellies here, bringing our hands beneath the shoulders. Inhale, make your way on up onto your hands and knees here. And we're actually going to come right onto our back. So if you need a towel off, grab a drink of water, put on socks or a jacket for final relaxation. Now is your moment. We will not set up for the rest of our practice today. All right. So coming on down onto your back, we're going to tuck our knees into the chest, wrap our arms around, and maybe tuck the forehead toward the knees, getting that nice little pull in the upper spine here, into that thoracic spine, cervical spine here. Good. And then when you're ready, drop the head back down to the mat, maybe rock from side to side, maybe move those knees in some circles here, giving a massage to the low spine, low back here, little release of the hips, even though we didn't do a ton of work with the hips today. Good. Now, when you feel ready, we're going to drop those soles of the feet down to the floor and get ready for final relaxation. So if you've been with me before, you know the drill. You can stay here. You can always place props underneath the legs to kind of give that lift and a release of the low back. You can allow the knees to fall out wide. Props can be under the knees here to support that opening. You can extend one leg and keep the other in for fallen tree, or you can find that opening here, that regular final relaxation with both legs extended. Today, though, I invite you to either bring your arms out straight out to the side or to extend them up overhead so your armpits are open here. So we're opening ourselves up. One last very gentle heart and shoulder opener here. And if at any point this becomes uncomfortable, you can, of course, release the arms into a position that feels better for you. Now, if none of these positions are good for you, you're welcome to simply lay on your side or your belly. And then you can also come into seated if you prefer. I invite you into these positions on your back, but of course, if there's something else that feels better, I welcome you into that as this is your final part of the practice. So as you sit back here, as you lean back, just breathing and no longer controlling the breath, but becoming an observer of it. Start to notice the movements of the breath. Start to notice how fast or slow it's become, how deep or shallow. Just noticing the breath as it moves through the body here. That natural rhythm, that natural cadence it starts to take on. See if you can feel your body breathing itself. That sounds maybe weird, but notice how the body moves without your involvement whatsoever. Instead, you're just the witness, just the observer of your breath. Now, if your mind gets distracted, it wanders off, it goes on a thinking adventure, it is okay. Just see if you can turn the attention back to the breath, back to focusing on the inhales and the exhales. Of course, if it makes more sense for you, you can always come back to that mantra that we used at the beginning of our practice. Inhale, I share. Exhale, my gifts. Inhale, I share. Exhale, my gifts. Just remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for a few more moments. I'm going to get quiet for this final part of practice so you can have it to yourself. Please know that I'm watching the time and I certainly respect yours. And I will let you out of this posture before the end of practice. So leaning back, letting go, just resting right here with your breath. Practicing mindful breathing and mindful walking, we can connect with the wonders of our body, the wonders of the earth, and with the whole cosmos. Bringing your awareness back to this space, taking a deep inhale through the nose, filling the belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhaling the breath back out. Taking another deep inhale as you begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Move the arms and legs, gently waking your body up. And when it feels right for you, roll onto one side, pause there with an arm or a hand beneath your head. It's here that I invite you to bring back to mind your intention or your purpose that you set at the beginning of practice that answered the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a nice deep inhale here. Feel the intention with the heart and mind as you sit on up into your seated position and we close out our practice together today. So, wiggling back and forth, rooting into the sits bones, sitting up nice and tall. We inhale the shoulders forward and up. We exhale, drop them back and down. Hands come into a comfortable position, whether on your knees, palms up or down, in your lap or at heart center, closing the eyes if you'd like. We take a moment to express gratitude for yet another lovely day here on earth, and for our bodies that allow us to do so many things, including yoga. Thank you all so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice today. It was a joy and an honor, and I hope to be able to do so again in the future. The light in me, it sees the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me here for this weekly stretch session with Yoga for Caregivers. Again, my name is Alexis Miller. You can find me here every Wednesday at 9 a.m. So mark your calendars, set your alarms. You can also find Yoga for Caregivers on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. So make sure to follow us on all of those pages to stay connected with all of the resources that volunteers like me are offering you and to see what we're up to. So I so thank you for joining me here on your mat today, and I hope to be able to do it again in the future. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.